Hello, my name is Hudson. I am a sophomore at Eau Claire University, and I am studying abroad in Ja- Japan in at Kansai Gaida University. And this is my daily, not so daily record of everything that I've done, and maybe inspire someone else to travel abroad because I definitely recommend it. Take all the time you can to study abroad because it's I don't know once in a lifetime opportunity, but it's definitely one heck of a ride. Um, Hi, I think I've decided to do more bi-daily stuff. So I'm catching up on yesterday and today. Today, um, yesterday I had my um, intro to Japanese class. Yesterday was Wednesday, so I took care of my schooling and stuff like that for Japanese. We worked on sentence structure. We did some more. We did the last 3 rows of hiragana, so it was all um, no, I apologize. We did the last 3 rows on Monday. We did more sentence structure, how to create questions, more not basic introductions, but it was continuing conversation. It was being able to hold conversation and learn more about your partner in the sense of reciprocating conversation. So you can say, "Are you this and this?" And they would say no. They would say yes or no. You can ask, "What is your age? What is your nationality? What is your major?" Senko wa nan Senko wa nansei desu ka? Nansei desu ka? Something like that. And the name is Onamae wa. Onamae wa. Clearly, I'm not a very good student because I haven't memorized it yet, but that's just that. However, I will say afterwards, I didn't sleep very well the night prior, so I slept almost all day yesterday. I came back and I just tapped out for like another 6 hours because I only had that one class in the morning. I was going to do something else. I was going to go to the Panasonic store to look for pocket Wi-Fi, but that didn't happen. Instead, I tapped out really, really hard. Afterwards, I did end up making chicken. I actually cooked myself, cooked a decent actual meal yesterday, which I did post. Which I did upload that video, 2 videos, because I didn't know how to mix 2 videos I took on my phone. It went off of the camera app by accident, so I had 2 split clips, but both of those are up, hopefully entertaining. And I've had some people tell me that I need to show what I'm actually doing, but there's no good spot to put my phone. It's all just oily, greasy counter. That was the only place that was like clean out of the way, like a little alcove, a little pocket in the wall. But if I do make food, when I do make food the next time, I will be sure to catch it on camera. This morning I had my Japanese cuisine class. I got up in time for that. I had hard-boiled egg and apple, and I got there way too early. I got there an hour before class started, which is a little aggravating, but it's what happens when you can't tell time. I basically just hung out there in the kind of the foyer of the building I needed to be in for an hour. That was fun. I said hello to some people, but other than that, I was kind of stuck because I wasn't walking back to my room and I wasn't going to the other campus, so might as well just stay there. Um, but that class was entertaining because we talked about um, oh, Omononoshi, which is Japanese official. There's a bunch of different answers to this, but like, what is Omononoshi? And Mononashi, yeah. Omotenashi. That sounds right. Omotenashi is effectively Japanese hospitality, but it also can turn into demonstrating hospitality in different kind of aspects. So you have um, Omotenashi defined as kind of like how the Winter Olympics were presented here. I have stuff on my chair. That's distracting. Go away. Stop it. Um, but it was born Japanese hospitality, the idea of motenashi, motonami. I swear I'm a good student. I swear I study Japanese cuisine. Motonashi, I was right. The motonashi, the idea behind it was actually born of the tea ceremony, which is onachoya, onakoya, something like that. I just put away my notes. I'm not getting it back out. But it was born of a guy who actually grew up in Osaka, and he created the tea ceremony, which is kind of a way to preserve the heritage of old Japan and old Osaka uh, through ritualistic creating, brewing, and pouring tea. And the man who invented it kind of made the idea behind hospitality in Japan instead of the comparison in class was from Eastern hospitality, specifically Japanese hospitality, and omotenashi to kind of customer service in the West and more of an American ideal, specifically because fine dining was taken over by the West once it came over from France. So the idea behind fine dining in America is there's a set of expectations that you have when you walk in the door between how everything looks, how everything is presented, and there's a certain level of etiquette and kind of monetary experience that you experience while you're inside of a fine restaurant through the service, um, the hygiene of the place, how clean it is, and the quality of food while you're there. So if you walk into a dirty place, you don't feel like paying a high value for something that you don't value as your time, which is a very Western ideal. And my family, even my family, I know for a fact follows with this because I can walk into a restaurant and tell exactly who in my family is not going to be happy with the quality, and especially when the food comes around, if it doesn't feel like $100 meal, like a $200 meal, then you feel like you were let down, and you feel like you were overpaying for an experience that you weren't provided, which is a very, very Western ideal. And there's nothing wrong with that because there's a certain, even in the world of hospitality, um, in the like entirely of the West, there's a level of respect and there's a level of respect for the people who actually provide the experience. Then there's the same amount of reciprocation for the quality of the experience, which is the Western value specifically that you pay for, and it's monetary and it's measurable. In Japan, or in any place that practices motenashi, because it's kind of bled over into China and other parts of Western Asia. Um, Motenashi is the experience as a whole instead of a monetary event. Motenashi is from the time you arrive here to the time you leave, not just the restaurant, the actual country. There are rules for hospitality in every institution that you enter, even in the language itself. There are rules to kind of give your all into helping out between your customer, someone you meet on the street, a friend. There is always a level of respect that you give to the adjacent person, and you can see that even in the language. And they will bend from the people I've met here, everywhere that I've gone into will bend over backwards to make sure that their customers or patrons are taken care of. And that's not just in a monetary sense. That's not because they're getting paid to do it. Like, I'm paying them for a service, yes, but not for that quality of service as I'm used to in the West, which is a fascinating thing I come across. And I didn't think about it like that until I was introduced to the idea of motenashi, and it's amazing to see how that bleeds over into customer service as a whole, and just genuine cordialness to a point where it's friendly, which is okay. Well, overly friendly is a good thing, but it's the amount of dedication that they take to making sure that everyone is taken care of in that moment, no matter what that moment might context, what the context of the moment is, which is fascinating. I was told to specifically go and try and experience the tea ceremony. There's a tea gathering ceremony and there's a tea preparation ceremony. I was told to see both if I could, but do the tea pouring ceremony, which is gonna be difficult because I don't like tea. But we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Um, After my eye-opening experience with that, it was let me see what did I do. I don't remember what I did. It was today. I had a span of time between the two classes. I went to the 7-Eleven on campus and I bought a sandwich and a drink and little chocolate wafer things. So, first off, the sandwich I had was delightful. Then it was kind of like I had the drink I had was like cold hot chocolate, which was awesome. And I shook it the crap out of it, and it was still the bottom was still coated with chocolate. So I didn't have any more liquid though, so I had to toss it. But the little chocolate wafers that I had, they were advertised as chocolate sticks. It was more like a wafer dipped in chocolate. It wasn't like a Kit Kat. It was more corny than that. It was like it tasted almost like cereal. The thing that it reminded me most of was Cookie Crisp. Cookie Crisp. That's what reminded me the most of, like the airy kind of puff, um, wafery cookie kind of. It was too salty. It was it was, but then the chocolate was the the crack kind of gas station donuts chocolate that's like waxy but still melt in your mouth. Whatever synthetic addictive chocolate is. So it was a good little. It took it definitely caught me off guard because I didn't expect the cereal Cheeto texture and what was advertised as a chocolate stick. But I guess that's what I get for not reading the package, even though I did read the package and I just can't understand the other language that's written in. So that's my fault. Being illiterate's hard. Imagine walking into a country and actually understanding the language. Imagine the I didn't prepare for this trip at all, and it's so much fun. After my brief lunch, I bought a whole package of the chocolate sticks and I had like two of them before I tossed the whole bag into my backpack to go sit in the third building and wait for my ghost class. In my ghost class, we talked about um, um, more stuff about the Hakyu no Yoki, Hakyu no Yoku, Hyaku no Yoku, the 100 Demon Night Parade. Um, in the very beginning, he was setting up videos and stuff that we never actually watched. So, but we were talking about the. So aside from that was kind of like our introduction to the rest of the class period was the Hakyu no Yogyo. But it bled into actually pop culture. and how everything kind of procured itself after the warring period had ended, and how the Edo period, and actually through that the Meiji period, kind of came to be in Japan. It was the Edo period that was the birth of most pop culture and actually the majority of the art styles. They weren't all concerned about, killing each other at that point. So the samurai became bureaucrats. You had the birth of art. You had the birth of literature. You had the birth of the beginning of media. They began to use yokai as like memory games. So kids would have little cards with information on the back of like little myth behind it, and then pictures of the yokai on it. And then they would read the back of the card, and the first person to find the matching, picture of the demon would get a point, accumulate points or whatever. I'm not saying that Pokemon is really really old, but if there was an ancient way to say gotta catch them all, I think it would have something to do with yokai. Just putting that up. That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. And I think that would be why like Japan has placed such a high marketing value on Pikachu. Trust me. So I can guarantee that two generations above me, more Asian related pop culture is a mystery, especially during like the World War II era. Everything that came from everything like World War II era, and then right after it, and then everything after it, kind of like us and like one generation above me. Um, that generation has no idea what's happening with like Japanese pop culture or um, just anything Asian really. And that falls under the same thing for me too. I couldn't tell you what China's up to right now, aside from being a communist state. And even then, how successful is that? Um, I couldn't tell you anything about that. It was only until like what 2020 where anime started getting popular in the West. Like it really really took off in like 2020, and then now you have how many odd people as Naruto fans? You got probably close to like 2018. Let's be real, because I was watching it in like eighth grade. When it was it's 2022 right now. I'm really only 19. I'm not that old. I can't be losing track of years now. I'm not even 2 decades old. I'm a sophomore, 4 years. That puts me at 13. I was 13. That puts me at 20. No, there's no way that works out that well. 2013, not age 30. No, 2016. 2016. Yes, 2016, when everything started going downhill. And that's when anime popped into my life. Regardless, pop culture exploded in the Meiji era. There was one dude who really, really liked really gross artwork, which I swear is the modern, like, the inspiration for Mortal Kombat. Because this dude strung up his wife with a rope and then stabbed the crap out of her. One dude ripped the face off another dude. All very delicately drawn on silk and paint. It was, it's gruesome. It's nasty. His face ripping and stabbing and spine pulling, and yeah, it was some get over here kind of nonsense. It was vicious. But that's how we ended the class on that happy note. I didn't make, so I made chicken last night, and for dinner I didn't make the pasta that I was going to. Instead, I actually went down and got a bento box, and I got to hang out with a friend of mine. So that's what I did for dinner, and I've been up here doing homework ever since. So tomorrow I have, excuse me, Japanese 1, and I have my continuation, a second class period of Eastern medicine. We're doing the homework for that one, which is going to be so nice. It's an easy A. It really is. All I had to do was read. I just You had to read a, a paper on kind of like the treatment of upper body, the stigma of upper body related injuries, which was interesting because it was like 30, 40-year-old men, kind of general vibe. No, sorry, 40, 50-year-old men who were dealing with upper body pain, and arm pain, and then women of the same age bracket who were dealing with similar things for different reasons. So there was like office workers who had their wrists all screwed up from typing. They were actually medical professionals, and I was believe the women group of that was, so like if they had a more disabled patient or crippled one, they would use a lift. If the lift wasn't working, they would have to pick them up, right? So they would pull their arms, they would pull a muscle, they would dislocate something, just be generally uncomfortable, and then they wouldn't see a doctor because of the stigma behind being too unwell to help, seeking treatment, or seeking therapy, which I think all three of those are really, really old ideas. There's nothing wrong, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to spend that kind of money because Western medicine is very expensive, but also for good reason. We're paying for decent doctors, and we're paying for healthcare that will be otherwise only supported by tax money. And if you don't want to pay tax money to begin with, then where's the extra money go? Because it's not going toward hospitals. But you're paying the money in the West for quality health care. That's the idea behind it. That's why you're paying your doctors so much. The people there that are actually in need of help, in need of service, don't want to pay that. For one, they don't want to pay the money. Two, they think there's something wrong with them. And three, they didn't want to be hindrances in their other professions. Like you had the office workers who needed like some severe carpal tunnel. They didn't want to get on medication, just waiting for the pain to fade, and then bought kind of Amazon's top 10 recommended wrist pads. Those don't help when carpal tunnel is already set in. If you want to get some hot wax next, we can see what happens, but you need like physical therapy to stretch out your ligaments. Stuff's wild. College is wild. Learning stuff is going to be insane. But the only thing I need to do for that class is like a mind map, which is effectively one word bubbles connecting to other one word bubbles, and just seeing where the natural thought process takes me and how all those things connect. So that's already done. It's tomorrow. I have finished my homework for Japanese tomorrow. Already done. I have homework. I have virtually no homework, which is super awesome. Granted, I have projects. I actually have my first project coming up in my Ghost and Monsters class, and I will be doing a presentation on a yokai or Japanese monster in media of my choice. I may or may not have gone down the route of let's find something in anime that I can write about. And my most recent obsession is Jujutsu Kaisen. You might think you know where this is going, but you don't. Curses, turns out, is very vague. So I am doing a report on the Inugami, which is a demon dog. How cool is that? It's like a hellhound from Greek mythology, but it's not because it's like an evil spirit, but also a mystical spirit. It's cool. It's cool, I promise. I'll tell you what I researched lately. I'll tell you what I researched when I come to it. I think that's everything. I think that's all I've done. I don't think there's anything. It rained today. I recorded. Oh, I put that up today too. I recorded my walk from school to my room. Forgot about that. I uploaded a lot in the last few days. I uploaded 4 videos within 2 days. Well, I guess when this one goes up, that'll be 4 videos. But as of right now, it's only 3. So in about 10 minutes, I'll have 4 videos in the next 3 days. for 2 days. And still not sponsored by Pringles, Nintendo. Oh, see the joke that I made. Coke? Was it Coke? Pringles? Microsoft? No, I don't remember. I mean, if I put in my plug, can I be sponsored by Nintendo? I have your merchandise, please. I'm gonna pre-order Pokemon Scarlet. I am. So I can get it here in Japan, authentically, when it comes out, which is earlier than the Western. Haha. It comes out, I'm pretty sure it comes out the same everywhere, but that's just me attempting to flex on anybody. Actually, that's not true. I'm gonna get an official art book that comes with it. That I know for a fact, because I'm getting it in Japan. I'm also going to go to a Pokemon Center sometime. Because how cool would that be? That'd be Saturday. It's in Osaka, so that's like not even a day trip. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of Pokemon merchandise I can find. I want to do my report on Pokemon, but there one. Apparently, Mawile is based on the two-mouthed woman. Okay, I just remembered a trivia that I know off the top of my head. That's not even relevant. Okay, now I'm just rambling. I'm sleepy all of a sudden, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna cut it at 26 minutes, the longest episode by far. By the time I finish my outro, it's gonna be like 28. But thank you for stopping by. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. If someone knows Pringles or Nintendo, hook me up. That's all I got. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in tomorrow or in 2 days. So, arigato.